You know the feeling, that heaviness in your chest after spending time with them, that exhaustion that has nothing to do with the work you've done, that strange emptiness, like something vital has been extracted from you, and the worst part, you can't quite explain it to anyone else. Because on the surface, everything seems fine. They didn't attack you. They didn't insult you. They didn't do anything you could point to and say, that right there, that's a problem. But your body knows. Your mind knows. Something fundamental has shifted. You walk away from conversations with them feeling smaller, like you've been compressed into a version of yourself you don't recognize. A quieter version, a dimmer version, a version that second-guesses every word before it leaves your mouth. Maybe it's someone you work with, someone you see every day who somehow leaves you feeling depleted by lunch. Or maybe it's someone closer, a friend you've known for years, a family member, someone you're supposed to love, someone you do love, which makes it so much worse. Because how do you explain that loving them is exhausting? Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." He wasn't being pessimistic. He was the emperor of Rome. He dealt with senators who smiled to his face while plotting his downfall, generals who demanded resources while questioning his authority, family members who saw his throne as their inheritance. He knew some people don't just demand your time. They demand your energy, your peace, your sense of self. And here's what nobody tells you about energy vampires. They're often not villains. They're not evil. They don't wake up planning to drain you. That's what makes it so insidious, so confusing, so hard to defend against. They might even love you, care about you, want the best for you, while simultaneously, systematically, pulling the life force out of every interaction. You've tried to fix it, haven't you? You've tried being more patient, more understanding, more available, more giving. And what happened? The more you gave, the more they needed, the more you showed up, the more they expected, the more you sacrificed your peace, the less peace you had to give, until one day you realized you're not helping them, you're not being a good friend, a good son, a good colleague. You're disappearing, fading, becoming a ghost in your own life. The ancient Stoics understood something we've forgotten, that your energy, your mental peace, your emotional equilibrium, these aren't unlimited resources. They're finite, precious, worth protecting with the same ferocity you'd protect your physical body. Epictetus, who was born a slave, tortured, physically disabled, and still became one of history's most influential philosophers, taught his students one fundamental truth. If you don't wish to be a person of hot temper, don't feed the habit. Make your first response to be quiet, and count the days on which you haven't been angry. He wasn't talking about anger management. He was talking about energy management, about recognizing when someone or something is feeding a destructive pattern in you, and choosing with cold precision to star that pattern. But how do you recognize it? How do you identify these people when they're often those closest to you? When they're skilled at making you feel guilty for even questioning the relationship? The signs are there, subtle, but once you see them, you can't unsee them. And that's where we begin, with recognition, with the courage to look clearly at what's actually happening. Not what you wish was happening, not what used to happen, but what is happening right now, in the present moment, because the Stoics believed in one principle above all others: truth, objective reality, seeing things as they are, not as we want them to be. Are you ready? Ready to see clearly, to name what's been nameless, to understand why you feel this way? Then let's begin with the first sign, the one that most people miss, because it feels like caring. Sign number one: after every interaction with them, you need to recover, not just rest. Recovery, like you've been in battle, like you've run a marathon, you never signed up for, like you've been defending yourself from an enemy you can't quite identify. And here's the trap. Here's what keeps you locked in the cycle. Society told you this means you're not trying hard enough, that relationships require work, that if you just communicate better, if you just understand their perspective, if you just give a little more, everything will balance out. They lied. Healthy relationships, real connections, they energize you even when they're difficult, even when you disagree, even when you're working through problems. You walk away feeling more alive, more yourself, more connected to your own power. But after time with an energy vampire, you need silence, solitude, hours sometimes, just to feel like yourself again, to remember who you were before that conversation, before that lunch, before that phone call. You probably developed rituals, haven't you? Ways to cleanse yourself after interactions, a drive with music, a workout, a walk, scrolling your phone in silence, just decompressing from something you can't quite name. Sign number 2, they dominate the emotional weather of every space they enter. When they're happy, everyone must celebrate. When they're upset, everyone must soothe. When they're anxious, everyone must manage their anxiety. When they're bored, everyone must entertain. The entire room, the entire relationship revolves around their emotional state. And somehow, subtly, you become responsible for maintaining their equilibrium. You started asking yourself before you speak, how will they react to this? Will this upset them? Will this trigger them? Will this make things harder? And you didn't notice when it started, when your natural thoughts started passing through their filter, when you began editing yourself, when you started carrying their emotional weather forecast in your mind at all times. Seneca, advisor to Emperor Nero, one of the most dangerous men in history, wrote about this exact pattern. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. But he also wrote, hang on to your youthful enthusiasms. You'll be able to use them better when you're older. He understood energy vampires don't just drain your present, they drain your future, your enthusiasm, your natural vitality, your ability to engage fully with life, because you're always managing them. Sign number 3, conversations with them are never mutual. They ask how you are, but if you actually tell them, really tell them, one of two things happens. Either they immediately redirect to their own similar experience. Oh, I know exactly what you mean and suddenly you're listening to their story, comforting them about your problem, or they give advice, lots of it, rapid fire solutions. Have you tried this? What about that? I think you should. As if your sharing was a problem to be fixed, not a human experience to be witnessed. You've learned, haven't you, to keep it surface level. I'm good, busy, you know how it is. Because going deeper costs too much. What they didn't tell you, what they couldn't tell you, because they don't know, is that this pattern, this dynamic, it's older than you think. Marcus Aurelius dealt with this in the Roman Senate. Men who would monopolize every discussion, who turned every state matter into a referendum on their feelings, who demanded attention, validation, constant reassurance of their importance. And he wrote, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? He wasn't telling you to suppress your frustration. He was warning you the cost of staying engaged with energy vampires is higher than the temporary discomfort of creating distance. Sign number 4, they rarely, if ever, take responsibility. Everything is someone else's fault, someone else's problem, someone else's responsibility to fix. And somehow, often that someone is you. They're late, traffic was impossible, their boss is unreasonable, they're alarmed and go off, they had a rough morning. Never, I didn't plan well, I apologize. They hurt you? You're too sensitive. You misunderstood. You're overreacting. They were just joking. They didn't mean it that way. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Notice the pattern? External locus of control. Everything happens to them. They're never the agent, never the cause, always the victim, always the one who deserves understanding, patience, endless second chances. And you're the one who must be reasonable, mature, understanding, forgiving, always, endlessly, forgiving. The Stoics called this avoiding ownership of your choices, and they considered it spiritual death, because if you're never responsible, you're never powerful, never able to change, never growing, just cycling through the same patterns, demanding others manage the consequences of choices you won't acknowledge making. Sign number 5, you feel guilty for wanting distance. This is a master trap, the one that keeps everything else in place. You think about reducing contact, setting boundaries, creating space, and immediately the guilt floods in. But they need me. They're going through a hard time. They don't have anyone else. What kind of person walks away from someone who's struggling? What does it say about me if I choose my own peace over their pain? And there it is, the invisible chain, forged from your own empathy, your own goodness, your own desire to be a good person. They didn't put it there. You did, because you care, and they've learned, consciously or not, that your caring is your vulnerability. But here's what the Stoics understood, what Marcus Aurelius practiced while ruling an empire, what Epictetus taught while having nothing, what Seneca wrote while advising a tyrant. Your peace is not selfish. Your boundaries are not cruel. Your energy is not infinite. And the person who won't respect that, who makes you feel guilty for protecting yourself, who demands you set yourself on fire to keep them warm, they're showing you exactly who they are and exactly how much they value your well-being. The question is, are you ready to believe them? 170 AD, the Antonine Plague ravages Rome. 5 million dead. The empire's borders crumbling under barbarian invasion. The Roman Senate filled with men plotting his assassination. And Marcus Aurelius, emperor, philosopher, soldier, sits in his military tent on the front lines and writes, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to be worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. These things are not asking to be judged by you. Leave them alone." He wasn't writing for publication. These were his private journals, his meditations, his survival manual for maintaining sanity, while everything collapsed around him. And what he discovered, what kept him stable while chaos raged, was a principle so simple it sounds almost insulting. You don't have to engage, not with every comment, every demand, every emotional manipulation, every guilt trip, every crisis, every drama, every person who's learned that your empathy is your weakness. You don't have to engage. But here's what makes this so difficult. Why most men fail at this. Why you probably failed at this. Despite knowing these relationships are destroying you because you've been taught that good men show up, good men help, good men sacrifice, good men put others first, good men don't abandon people who need them, and energy vampires, they've mastered the language of need. They know exactly how to trigger your sense of duty, your guilt, your fear of being seen as selfish, cold, uncaring. The Stoics face this too, constantly. Epictetus was approached by a student who said, "My brother refuses to speak to me. What should I do?" And Epictetus, this man who'd been tortured, enslaved, who knew real suffering, responded, "Then let him refuse. That's his choice. But don't let his choice control your inner state. That's your choice." He wasn't being cold. He was being precise. You can't control other people. You can only control your response to them. And your response should be based on what serves your peace, not what manages their emotions. This is a dichotomy of control, the foundational principle of Stoic philosophy, and it's the exact tool you need to break free from energy vampires. Some things are up to you. Your thoughts, your judgments, your values, your choices, your responses, your boundaries. Some things are not up to you. Other people's emotions, other people's opinions, other people's demands, other people's growth, other people's choices. The energy vampire violates this boundary constantly. They make their internal state your responsibility, their emotional regulation, your job, their happiness, your duty, and you accepted it because you're a good person, because you care, because walking away feels like failure. But here's the paradox the Stoics discovered, the one that changes everything. By trying to save them, you're enabling them. By managing their emotions, you're preventing their growth. By sacrificing your peace, you're teaching them that your peace doesn't matter. Seneca watched this pattern destroy Rome's elite, men of power, wealth, influence, completely controlled by toxic relationships, unable to set boundaries, unable to say no, unable to protect their own peace. And he wrote, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." The energy vampire's greatest weapon? Your imagination, your fear of what might happen if you create distance, your fantasy that if you just give a little more, they'll finally change. But they won't, not because they can't, but because they don't have to, because you're managing the consequences of their behavior, so they never experience them. The Stoic path forward isn't about being cruel. It's about being clear about what you will and won't accept, clear about what you owe others, clear about what you owe yourself, clear about the difference between helping someone and being consumed by someone. Marcus Aurelius had generals who demanded resources while questioning his leadership. He didn't try to win them over, didn't try to make them like him, didn't sacrifice Rome's future for their approval. He gave them what was theirs by duty and nothing more. No emotional energy, no personal investment, no space in his mind beyond what was necessary. Detached respect, professional distance, clear boundaries. Not because he was cold, but because the empire depended on his clarity, his focus, his energy being directed where it actually mattered. Your life, your purpose, your peace, they depend on the same clarity. The energy vampire in your life, they're showing you where you lack boundaries, where you're afraid to disappoint, where you're trying to earn worth through sacrifice. And the ancient path forward, the Stoic response, isn't to fight them, isn't to change them, isn't to explain yourself endlessly. It's to recognize with calm precision that their patterns are not your responsibility, that their growth is not your project, that their emotions are not your burden. This isn't theory. This isn't philosophy for philosophy's sake. This is survival, because what you're losing in these toxic dynamics isn't just time, it's not just energy, it's not just peace, it's you, the version of yourself that has clarity, purpose, power, direction, and every day you delay, every day you tell yourself just a little longer, just a little more, that version of you fades a little more. The Stoics understood. Sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for both of you is let them experience the natural consequences of their choices. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose your own peace over their comfort. Are you ready? Ready to stop managing them and start reclaiming yourself? Then let's talk about exactly how. The practical steps, the daily practice, the transformation from depleted to unshakable. The framework begins with recognition without reaction. When they text you at 11 p.m. with another crisis, when they launch into their complaints before you've even sat down, when they somehow turn your good news into their problem, when you feel that familiar weight settling into your chest. Stop. Don't respond. Don't fix. Don't engage. Not yet. Just notice. This is a pattern. This is what's happening. I feel X because Y is occurring. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every morning. He would sit with his journal and write, "Today I shall be meeting with an interfering, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly person." Not to be pessimistic, but to be prepared, to recognize, without being controlled by the patterns of others. Level 1, awareness before action. For the next 7 days, when you interact with the energy vampire, don't try to change anything. Don't set boundaries yet. Don't create distance. Just document. How do you feel before the interaction? During? After? How long does it take to recover? What specifically triggered the energy drain? Was it their words, their tone, their demands, their victim stance, their refusal to take responsibility? Write it down, not to build a case against them, but to build clarity for yourself. Because right now, it's all fog, a vague sense of exhaustion you can't quite explain. But when you document it, when you see it written out 3 days, 5 days, a week, the pattern becomes undeniable, and denial is their greatest protection, your greatest vulnerability. Level 2, the strategic pause. They send a text demanding immediate attention. Your old pattern, respond immediately, fix it, manage their emotion, prevent the escalation. The new pattern, pause, not to punish them, not to play games, but to give yourself space between stimulus and response. Epictetus taught, first learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. Modern translation, first understand what's actually being demanded, then choose consciously whether to meet that demand. They want immediate validation. Pause 2 hours. Respond calmly, without explanation, without apology. I'll get back to you on this. They launch into a complaint. I hear you're frustrated. I need to think about this. Let's talk tomorrow. They demand you fix their problem. That sounds challenging. What are you thinking of doing about it? Notice what you're doing. You're not being mean. You're not abandoning them. You're simply not taking ownership of what isn't yours. You're reflecting their responsibility back to them where it belongs. Level 3, the boundary declaration. This is where most men fail because they wait until they're angry, resentful, at their breaking point, and then they explode, or they ghost, or they issue an ultimatum. The Stoic way, you set boundaries from a place of calm, not punishment, not anger, not manipulation, just clear statement of reality. I've noticed I need more recovery time after our conversations. I'm going to be limiting our contact to, I can't be available for calls after 8 p.m. anymore. I'm not able to discuss this topic with you anymore. It's not serving either of us. Notice, no justification, no over-explanation, no apology for having needs, just clear statement of the boundary, and then silence. Because here's what they're used to. They're used to your boundaries being negotiable, open for discussion, something they can logic you out of, or guilt you out of, or make you feel selfish about. Seneca wrote, "A man is as unhappy as he's convinced himself he is." The energy vampire has convinced you that your needs are negotiable, that your peace is optional, that your boundaries are selfish. They're not. Level 4, consistent enforcement. They will test the boundary. Immediately, this is guaranteed. They'll have an emergency, a crisis, something that just this once requires you to break your boundary. They'll be hurt, confused, angry. They'll question your character, your loyalty, your love. And here's where you prove to yourself that you meant what you said. You hold the boundary calmly, without anger, without guilt, without endless explanation. I understand you're upset. The boundary stands. I know this is hard for you. I'm not available tonight. I hear that you need something. I'm not the person provided anymore. Marcus Aurelius ruled the largest empire on earth. He had people demanding his attention, his resources, his energy, constantly, endlessly, and he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not make everyone happy, not manage everyone's emotions, not sacrifice yourself for everyone's comfort. Confine yourself to the present. What is mind control right now? What serves my clarity? What protects my peace? And then do that, nothing more." Level 5, the energy redirect. Here's what happens when you maintain boundaries with an energy vampire. You suddenly have energy, time, mental space, peace, and your first instinct is to feel guilty about it, to wonder if you're being selfish, to question if you made the right choice. Don't waste it. Don't spiral. Redirect. All that energy you were spending managing them, spend it on your purpose, your growth, your relationships that actually energize you, your work that actually matters. The best revenge isn't anger, isn't making them understand what they did, isn't getting them to apologize. The best revenge is becoming so focused, so clear, so directed that their drama becomes background noise, irrelevant to the life you're building. Epictetus was asked, "What should I do about this person who wronged me?" He responded, "What does that have to do with you being excellent?" Exactly. What does their dysfunction have to do with you being excellent? Nothing, unless you let it. The transformation isn't about punishing them. It's about reclaiming you, the version of you that is energy for what matters, clarity about your direction, peace in your daily existence. And here's what they don't tell you about this process. Here's the part that surprises everyone. When you stop managing their emotions, when you stop being available for their every crisis, when you stop sacrificing your peace for their comfort, one of two things happens. Either they adjust, they start taking more responsibility, they respect the boundary, they grow, and the relationship becomes healthier, more balanced, more mutual, or they leave, they rage, they paint you as the villain. They move on to someone else who will play the role you've abandoned. And both outcomes are victories, because either you get a healthier relationship or you get your energy back. Win or win. The only loss is staying in the pattern, hoping they'll change. While you fade, are you ready? Ready to stop fading and start reclaiming? Then let's talk about what your life looks like on the other side. 3 months from now, you wake up and the first thing you notice is the silence in your mind, not the frantic mental checking. Did they text? Are they okay? Should I reach out? Did I upset them? What do they need today? Just silence. Peaceful, clear, yours. You check your phone, on your time, not reactively, not anxiously, just when you decide to. Maybe there's a message from them, maybe there isn't, and here's the shift. You don't feel either relief or dread. You feel neutral, boundaried, free. If you respond, it's from choice, not obligation, not guilt, not fear of their reaction. Just, I have bandwidth for this today. Or, I don't. This is what the Stoics called apatheia, not apathy, indifference, but freedom from being controlled by external circumstances. Freedom from having your peace determined by someone else's emotional state. Marcus Aurelius lived this every single day. Senators demanding, generals complaining, family members manipulating, citizens needing, and through it all, maintaining an inner fortress, unshakable, unmoved, clear. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The energy vampire was your enemy. They were your teacher, teaching you where you lack boundaries, where you confuse self-sacrifice with virtue, where you gave away power you didn't need to give. And now, you're different. You walk into the room where they are, and something has shifted. They feel it immediately, even if they can't name it. You're present, but not available. Polite, but not porous. Friendly, but not their emotional support system. They launch into their usual pattern: the complaint, the crisis, the subtle demand for your energy, your validation, your problem solving. And you listen with calm detachment. And then you say, something that would have been impossible 3 months ago. That sounds challenging. What are you going to do about it? And you mean it. You're genuinely curious, but not responsible, not fixing, not managing, not absorbing. The question sits there in the space between you, and they realize for the first time that you're not going to save them, not because you're cruel, but because you're clear. This is their life, their choice, their responsibility, their growth, or their stagnation, and yours is yours. Seneca wrote this to a friend. I'll tell you what I discovered. If you want to be free, you must first break your chains, and the chains are forged from habit and expectation. The habit of managing their emotions, the expectation that you're responsible for their peace, the pattern of self-sacrifice disguised as love, broken, and in the breaking, space for something new. Maybe they adjust. Maybe they learn that respect and boundaries create better relationships than manipulation and guilt. Maybe they grow, become someone who energizes rather than drains, someone who gives as much as they take. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they rage at the loss of control. Maybe they tell others you've changed, become cold, selfish, uncaring, and you let them because their opinion isn't your responsibility. Their narrative about you isn't yours to manage. What's yours? Your peace, your purpose, your energy directed toward what actually matters. 6 months from now, you're surrounded by different people, or the same people, relating differently. The relationships that remain, they're mutual, balanced, energizing, real. You give and you receive, not transactional, but reciprocal, natural, healthy. You have conversations where both people share, both people listen, both people leave feeling more connected, not depleted. This is what the Stoics meant by living in accordance with nature, not fighting reality, not trying to force toxic patterns into healthy shapes, but accepting what is and choosing what serves. Your energy is yours again, to invest, to direct, to protect, to spend on what matters, not what drags. Your time becomes productive, focused, intentional, because you're not constantly recovering, constantly managing, constantly putting out fires that aren't yours. Your mind, finally, has space to think your own thoughts, plan your own future, build your own life. And the strangest thing, the thing nobody tells you, you realize the energy vampire needed this too. They needed you to stop enabling, stop managing, stop preventing them from experiencing the natural consequences of their behavior. Because as long as you absorb those consequences, they never had to change, never had to grow, never had to develop their own emotional regulation, their own responsibility, their own strength. Your boundary was the most loving thing you could have done for both of you. Epictetus taught his students, there is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worry about things which are beyond the power of our will. Their growth beyond your will, their choices beyond your will, their emotional state beyond your will, their opinion of you beyond your will, what's within your will, your response, your boundaries, your peace, your energy, your life. And once you truly understand this, once you feel it, not just intellectually, but in your bones, in your daily experience, in the calm space where your mind used to race, you become unshakable, not because nothing bothers you, but because you know with absolute clarity what's yours to carry and what isn't. The energy vampires will still exist in your family, your workplace, your community, your world, but they won't have power over you anymore because you've learned the ancient secret, the one Marcus Aurelius practiced on the battlefield, the one Epictetus taught from chains, the one Seneca wrote while advising tyrants. Your peace is yours, and no one can take it from you unless you hand it over. So here's the question, the only question that matters. What will you do in the next 24 hours to reclaim what's yours? Will you notice the pattern without reaction? Will you pause before responding? Will you set one boundary, just one, and hold it? Or will you wait another day, another week, another month, telling yourself it's not that bad? They need you, you're being selfish. It'll get better while your energy, your peace, your life drains away, drop by drop, interaction by interaction. The Stoics believed that philosophy wasn't academic. It was practical survival, the difference between drowning and standing firm. This moment, right now, reading these words, is the moment of choice. You can return to the old pattern, the comfortable dysfunction, the familiar drain, or you can do what the Stoics did, stand in the chaos, unmoved, boundaried, free. Your energy is yours. Protect it like the precious resource it is. Your peace is yours. Guard it like the empire depends on it, because it does. The empire of your life, your purpose, your potential. Choose power